4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to have you this morning. I just jumped off Brian Schulman's show. We support each other during these 6 weeks, and he's coming every single. What is this? Today it's Wednesday, right? Or Thursday for us.
It's still Wednesday for me.
For you and for Brian. So we are supporting the show, and I'm really happy to have you here, Annie, at the Global Empowerment Summit. This is the summit that I organized for 6 weeks with all of you, with all the 200 volunteering experts to cheer the people up and to bring some positivity and to, just enhance the people's skill set and just give a bit of fresh energy during this time. So Annie, always starting with the person. Who is Annie? What's your favorite food? What's your morning routine? What's your cat's name? Tell us a little bit more.
I'm just so happy that I'm not the interviewer because I do so many live shows that I'm just thrilled to be on this end and I get to answer questions that I know the answers to. So I'm Annie. I'm a mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a CEO. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. I am also what I consider to be love. It is a huge core value of mine. It represents who I am and what I am. I am a creator of a program that's changing people's lives every day. And I'm lucky enough to be here. I know you worked really, really hard to do this. My son is over there for our interview. My dog, Randall, is right there next to him. So everybody's here. We're good. It's just been a long day, so you'll have to pardon if my energy's usually it's here, it might be here. So
no problem. We are here to lift you up, so I will try my best to lift you up and not to wake you up so that you cannot sleep, but just a little bit of positivity.
I don't sleep that much anyway. It's okay. It's all right.
And feel free to bring in your son if he wants to say something from the young generations. He can also join us. No problem.
Okay.
So it's really, really nice to have you here. I know that you're working hard on building up something that you created, and I saw the story. When was it born, and how did you manage to just put this together to help people? So tell us a little bit more about your work, but first from kind of the origin story, how did it start? What was the first step? Why did you do it?
So the origin of it is from when I was in the depths of my despair, getting a divorce in 2014. I was not in a good place. And I was signing my divorce papers and I saw a poem on the wall by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And it said something about breath. And I'm like, you know what? I couldn't be any lower. You can take everything from me. You can strip me of everything, but you can't take my breath. It's mine. And I turned on my heel and I went to the tattoo parlor and I got it written on my hip, the word breath. Fast forward to 2020. It's COVID. I'm just finishing my executive MBA in Philadelphia at St. Joe's. And I'm, coming out guns a-blazing, ready to get this big corporate job, right? And I'm doing a little consulting and coaching on the side, but just a side hustle. And I meet my business partner, Mike Paterano, on LinkedIn. And we start talking about my story. He knows about the breath tattoo. And we're both going through these journeys. And he says to me, we would be remiss if we didn't share this with people. So let's make this into something big. And we thought of an acronym for breath. So it's B is for begin where you are. R is reclaim your power. E is excavate your core values. A is allow. T is through. And H is heal. And that's what the breath framework is. And we created a 6-month program to coach people, both one-to-one and in groups, about how to journey to a place that we've coined our soul center. And what we believe is that people go from mind-centered to heart-centered to soul-centered. Soul-centered is this really incredible place that I sit in right now that is wholeness, full, it is fulfilled, it is aligned with your core values. And when you can be all of those things, you're in the place called your soul center. And so we created a network powered by Mighty Networks called the Soul Center. We have people in groups, men and women, safe spaces for them monthly. And we have built up our team to 18 people. So we have 18 amazing, intuitive, incredible coaches that work on my team. And we're still building. We work in a couple different businesses and corporate, and we're helping people to journey to their soul center, just like Mike and I did on our own. So we created this thing, and it's under the name of Annie Leib LLC, but it's Breath Framework Incorporated. And that's the origin of the story.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's always, the more people I talk to, the more I see that it's kind of like if you go through some hurdles, you go through something very extreme in your life, then when you learn from it, you can help others who are going through the same thing, and this becomes something like a passion. So it's kind of like happened to you too, right? That you went through it, you came out of it, you saw a solution for yourself, so you are searching for resonating people and you are offering the solution for them.
Well, so the last part of the story is that one time Mike and I were on the phone, one of the many times, and he said to me, Emes. And I know what that means, but not a lot of people know what that means. That's a Yiddish word that means truth. And I was like, I'm getting that tattooed on me. So I went and I got this on my wrist. And that says Emes, which is Yiddish for truth. And so I will tell you that what I did was I stood in my truth. And that's how I was able to co-create this and build this company, because we are standing in our truth in order to be soul-centered. And it's a beautiful thing, but you got to go through in order to get there. I mean, there's no other way to say I'm great at what I do. My daughter is like doing gymnastics upstairs. I'm sorry. She should be in bed, but there's no other way to explain how I can do what I do. There's no certification that can get you life experience. Do you know what I mean? There's no letters after your name that matter when it comes to life experience. Life experience is experience. And that's what I've had, a ton of it. And in going through the things, the trials and tribulations of life, that's how I'm able to intuitively help people every day reach their soul center.
And I just told you before we went live on this show that whatever you post, and you are very active on LinkedIn. So people who are in the audience now or who are watching this show later, because Malaysia is waking up always a little bit later than the usual. So if you're watching it later, then check out Annie Leib's post on LinkedIn, because you will see the feel, what she's talking about. You will see what soul center means if you really pay attention to the details, and if you see the whole picture and you scroll through her posts, you will get the feel what she is resonating with you. So it's really, really interesting, and it's really rare to see the same style, the same feeling, the same depth when people go on social media. So I'm really, really curious about how did you do that search? What can you say to people who would like to be like you, like putting their heart out and showing it to the people? What's the secret here?
It's so funny that you asked that, because today's been a really busy day. I'm losing my voice. I did a fireside chat. Then I had a women's safe space group, and now I'm with you. And in that fireside chat, that was what she asked me. She's like, you're so raw and real and authentic. How do you do that? And I have to tell you that standing in my truth, I don't know how else to be. So I don't have a content. I'm just going to be transparent. I don't have a content calendar. I go with every morning I wake up, and part of my journal entry is what I post. And I share what's happening with me at that time. And I tie it into the soul center and being soul centered and whole. And that's how I do my content. And that's what's gotten me this following that is it's not about the number of people, it's about the engagement. And I have this really tremendous, incredible engagement on LinkedIn that just blows my mind every day. The care, the concern, the encouragement that I get from people every day, hundreds of people encouraging me and then others. Then it's just something that's electric, and I can't stop. I mean, I have to post. It is part of me. So I rarely miss a day, because it's, even if I'm not in the mood, then I'm going to post about that, because people need to know, like, this is real life. I don't know how to show up fake. So if, what we talked about in the fireside chat was like, if you haven't started doing it and you're worried about starting it, just like I said, just free write, just free write for yourself, just write about anything. And it will help you get to your truth. Thanks, Nora. See, I'm used to hosting. So I'm thanking the people in the comments. But it will get you to your truth and your authentic place. So that's what I do. Oh, I think you're on mute.
Sorry.
There we go.
Double security. So I'm dealing with all the backstage now. We are real. So
yes, it's happening. It's happening.
So Nora is someone who is also standing in her truth. He is helping people with a very specific problem, and she's someone who is also coming from experience. And you should definitely connect with Nora and see what she does, because it's really something very interesting, and she's giving a lot of hope for many people.
Great,
so
I would love that.
Yeah, it's a crazy work that she's doing. So thank you, Nora, for being here.
Mm-hmm.
And about what you said, what I could take away from this is that, okay, take your journal, start journaling if you haven't journaled yet, and try to get used to talking to yourself first about the truth, about being truthful to yourself.
Yes, stand in your truth. It's not about what anybody thinks. This is not a graded assignment. It's just you. No one else is going to read it. So just start writing. And for those people that say, I hate writing, just try it. Try it for 1 week. Mm-hmm. It will help you to focus and be present, which is the thing that I find my clients have the biggest problem with as soon as I meet them. They're just in the past and they're worried about the future. And there's not a whole lot of presence, and that makes you present. So that's the first way I would say to start on this authenticity journey, journaling and journey together. So, I mean, that's how I have stood in my truth. And I've noticed how it's evolved over time. My truth has changed, and getting it tattooed on me for me to look at, and it's not hidden on my hip, it's here for everyone to see, even my dad, which is like woo! So that was scary. But I would say, yeah, that's the best way to lean into yourself. If that makes sense, lean into who you are, figure out, and that's the breath framework. Begin where you are, reclaiming your power. Who are you giving your power away to? Excavating your core values, figure out what makes you you. This is what I work on with all my clients, and then allow is the hardest, I believe. That's the hardest letter. And then going through, not around, is huge. And then when you get to this healing place, it's a beautiful, beautiful journey.
It's really powerful. It's really powerful, because that's all the time missing, the going through, because people rather just put it under the rug, and saying oh, I will deal with this in 5 years, in 2 years, in whatever, and then I'm not ready to deal with it. But at the end, it will come on them.
Oh yes,
and it will just knock them down, because it comes with a force. And if you do it yourself, you take a little hurdle by hurdle by hurdle, then it's leveled up a little bit, so it will not cause such a big.
And when you're not going through and you're going around, what happens is it slowly chips away at your soul, and it doesn't allow you to act and be and live in your soul center. And when you stand in your truth, that's when you can be who you really are and lean into your core values and align with them and be truth and be full and be whole. And you just can't do that if you don't face things and go through them and sit in them.
Yes. Hi, Jack. It's very nice to see you again. And we were there with Brian Schulman this morning at the show. Very, very nice. So yes, exactly. And we are very aligned on this. I believe that's why we collided, because my tagline is dare to dance your way. I'm coming from the dancing background, and the strong core is super, super important for a dancer. And when I have to explain it to people, what is a strong core, then I'm explaining the balance. I'm explaining how you stand on your feet, how you are grounded, how you know what you want to do, how you have your values and boundaries and everything. And this work is it takes time. I mean, even for an Argentine tango dancer to become like the one who can support a woman, or for a man, for example, it takes 2 years to learn the steps and to be perfect in your tango, right? And it's exactly the same. It's really taking time. I mean, when I moved to Malaysia, it took me 2 years to get back to who I am, because I lost my independence. I had to bring up everything. I have to figure out what I want to do. And it's kind of like everyone has a story, right? So everyone has something to go through. It's just that whether you have that trigger or the will to go through it, it matters, right, Annie?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I've had to learn on this journey. Patience is not my MO. I'm not wired patient. It's not who I am. So going through this process to get to this soul-centered place has taken every ounce of patience and gratitude that one can muster up. So I will tell you that, yes, this is not something that happens in a week or a month. This is something but you will see gradual changes if you're doing the work. Just that's part of why journaling is so important too, to kind of keep track of where you were and how far you've come. So yeah, it takes patience and it takes time. Patience with yourself, giving yourself grace and compassion is so key.
It's super nice. I'm journaling since I was 6. It's I remember I left my old journeys at home, and I was always afraid that, I traveled so far to Asia, my mom will read my journey. And then, that happened.
Really?
Yeah, because it was in my room, and then she was like, packing around, because I'm not living there anymore, and my stuff is there. So she was like, "Oh, I found your journey." Oh, I was like, "Wow!" All the love houses with the different guys on it and all these things.
Yeah.
It's really, really good to journal. Let's go through a little bit the breath framework, just the letters again, because some people are just joining in. So let's go letter by letter. So let's start with the B from the breath.
So it's an acronym, which we call breath framework. B is for begin where you are. So what this means to me is, and why we created it this way, is because people often think that they're starting at a certain place, but they're really not there. And I work with people to help them to see where they are and meet them where they are. It's important to first figure out where you're starting, because a lot of times your mind is fooling you. R is reclaiming your power. R is so super important because we give away our power in so many ways. And figuring out how you're giving away your power and taking it back and standing in your truth and your power is so key. E is excavate your core values. So think of like a deep dive into who you are as a person. What makes you you? What makes you tick? What makes, your world spin? Who are you? What are your strengths, like a strengths finder, but also like, what are your core values? What are you rooted and anchored in? That's so important, because when you can figure those out and excavate those and dig into them, you can align with them. So excavate. I'm like, what's the A is for allow. Allow is the hardest for me. Allow is actually learning, learning who you are from the excavation, taking your power back, and then allowing things to happen as they should and as they will. Allowing things to be as they are. It's very, very difficult for most people, but it is amazing when you get to through, which is T, because that's sitting in it and going, all right, now I've allowed, now here it is. This is who I am. This is what I've been through. This is what I'm going through. And I'm sitting in the discomfort of who I am and my trauma. And now I'm going to go to H, which is healing. So H is that place where you can be, and it's constant, it's evolving, but H is a place of like I said, when you can get to a place of a soul center, that fulfilled whole place where you're aligned with yourself and your core values, then you can live a soul-centered life. And it is brilliant over here. I'm not saying I have it all figured out, but I have done all of those steps many times. And I can tell you that on a micro level, when we have things that we're going through, breath is a great thing to apply to that problem. So at a micro level, and then at a macro, bigger level, it's a great thing to apply as well. And it really helps you on your journey.
And I love the simplicity of the framework, because if you take acronyms and you work on that one by one, letter by letter, it gives the people some kind of a strategy already that they can follow. And it's also like a map through your journey, how you travel through the letters to your soul center at the end, and you look at it already, and you explore the way. It's like a treasure hunt towards your soul.
Yes, your gold. It is. It's beautiful because of two other important notes I want to make. It's beautiful because it's one, but it's also itself. So each letter is in and of itself, but it's also so interconnected. So there's beginning in going through. So they're all interwoven, but at the same time, they're all separate. So, it's a little hard to explain in just like this amount of time, but it's so brilliantly interesting when I'm coaching people and when my team is, thank you, Nora, when my team is coaching people and going through this process and just seeing how the results happen so fast. I mean, I will be like, or my other coaches, I've seen this person 4 times and she's made miraculous changes. So we're on to something here. And it's really, I said to somebody the other day, I said, if I was a millionaire tomorrow, I wouldn't stop doing my job. I love my job. I would never stop doing it. This is my life's mission. I know I'm here to do this. So it has nothing to do with money or that type monetary success. It's not like we're not an up and, a revenue generating company. It's not about that. It's like totally about helping to heal others and healing myself and us all being healed together.
And I really love this kind of way that you put the support together for one person, and it's really starting with the person itself. So all the letters here, understand, it's for the person. So it's until you get the strong core through getting through all the letters, it's all about you.
Yes.
And when we do, I wanted to collaborate with you, because what I do is that we go further in a couple, like in a dancing, like you have the strong core, and then after the strong core, you are able to be with someone in an independent union, right? And then you go together, and then comes the community, and then comes family and society, and it's kind of like a nice trail of putting everything together, and to have someone who is doing the first part to really deep dive, and it's really helping. I saw people, we went through so many hurdles. I'm mentoring some people. Hi Anjali, and hi Nora, and hi everyone who is watching us. I believe you are getting wisdom nuggets here from Annie, and if you want to follow Annie, then please go to LinkedIn and just write her I was there at the GES, and then she will accept.
Absolutely, please do.
Sure. So this is a beautiful thing that you do, and there are 2 things that I would like to still talk to. We have still 8 minutes to finish before Darren is.
I talk fast, don't worry.
So the first thing is that what would be the thing that people, how do you make people aware? Are they already aware and go to you because they are resonating, or you are waking the people up and you are the trigger? How does your...
It's both. It's both. It's not one or the other, because I will tell you, it's easier to coach people that are more aware and ready. But this is truly for everyone, because everybody's had trauma. Everybody's had stuff in their life. Everybody has stuff to work through. It is when someone comes and is awake, it's a whole other spiritual journey. But when someone's not awake, it can still work. It's just, you got to do some knocking on the door. So it applies to both, if that answers your question. It's really a beautiful framework, because there's yet to be someone that's come across us that can't use it. I mean, it's a way of life is what we say.
Yes, it's a lifestyle, right? It's
lifestyle.
you apply it in your life. And that's the second thing. Like, it's never stopping, right? You can start again and again and again with the bee, because we are changing, right?
We're always, hopefully, always evolving. That's my goal. I never, when I stop evolving, I'm dead, So I want to keep learning, growing, evolving, and keep doing that my entire life, and then help heal my children and my, the people around me and my coaches and our clients. And it's just, it's an ongoing thing, and healing always is. Healing never ends. So it's absolutely constant involvement.
So tell us a little bit more about, at the end of the interview, like, where can people reach you? I already put your website. I will put now the LinkedIn link, but how does it work with you? How can they connect?
So you just go to our website and you can schedule time with me, or it'll just go right to like our info. If you'll click around, it's super easy, or just contact me on LinkedIn. I will match you up with the best possible person. I can talk to you myself. We can work something out. And, I so appreciate you letting me sort of showcase what I do and what we've created, because it's my baby, and I already have 2 babies, but it's my baby. And it's such a beautiful thing to share with people. Even at 10:30 at night, after getting up at 5 a.m., it lights me up. And so I can't help but want to light other people up.
My baby is friend with your baby, so that's why I'm sharing it, because our babies are friends. So
exactly.
We are in the same line, and
exactly.
We're helping people. So why not spread the good thing?
Yes.
I want to just create a platform where people can find you. People can find people who are already doing valuable work, and we are in the same boat. And when I promote you, I do it from my heart, because I talk to you. I have been connecting with you. I see your passion and I see your truth, and I want the people to see that too, because it's amazing. And if we just send 10 or 20 people to you, or even 1, then we already did the job, because those people can start something beautiful.
I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
No, beautiful work what you do. I'm really, really happy to have you here. But let's just finish with something else. Our topic at this year's summit is the young and the wise people together. So tell us a little bit more about the young and the wise, how they tackle these things a little bit differently. Can they understand the breath framework the same way? Tell us a little bit more.
I think the most important thing, it's akin to skincare. Okay, think of it like this. You want to be preventative. You don't want to just get all these wrinkles and then do something about them. Like with kids, with the youth, we want to teach them ways of life that are healthy and do it before they're wrinkled, right? So we want to I just made that up. I don't know where it came from, but I just thought of it because I was like, I don't know. So it's like,
it's very picturesque. I think everyone understands.
I'm trying to have people picture. So just think about like learning it. Think about if you're an adult now, if you had learned these positive, influential, impactful ways to live when you were younger, how different would your life look? So that's why we want to, of course, the youth can get involved. Of course we want to. Of course, my kids understand it. They know what I do. They know breath and what it means. And, but the most important thing we have to do for our youth is model the way. We have to model the way. And I live this and die this every single day. This is what I eat and breathe. So I'm modeling the way, and I'm far from perfect, but I will tell you that like my kids know who I am and that I show up authentically every day. So for our youth, we just have to keep being consistent and modeling, and just remember that, yes, they do understand and they are teachable, and their minds are malleable, and it's the time to prevent some of that trauma from happening.
And sorry to ask this, but I see something in the background. As a last thing, I have to ask, is it no whining?
Yeah. There's a picture of my kids above it. It used to be on my wall at our old house, but I moved it to right there. And I was realizing when you were interviewing, I was like, oh God, that's no
so who doesn't have to whine? You or your kids? Because sometimes
no whining to the children. Yeah, that was to the children, but it goes for me too. No whining in this house.
That's amazing. I love that you are so truth, and you are just letting us into your heart. Thank you very much, Annie. It was an amazing morning with you. And thank you for Angie, for Jack, for everyone who was watching. Nora, thank you very much. Please make sure that you connect with Annie. You see she's on LinkedIn, and I also share the website. And have a beautiful night. And
yes, good night.
Have a good sleep. Rest
Thank you
voice.
for having me. I'm forever indebted to you. You're doing a beautiful thing, and it's amazing. And I wish you all the success.
Thank you very much, Annie. Thank you for coming at so late, and
you're
enjoy
welcome.
Your night. And
talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Hello. So this is like a little live TV studio, and here we are with Darren already, because he jumped into the studio to talk about a totally different topic, but also very, very interesting. Hi, Darren. How are you? Let me unmute you. Now you can talk.
Oh, okay, good. Hi, good morning, Andrea, and good morning, world.
So how have you been? How did you wake up? We met yesterday night, and we had an interesting conversation about remote work and remote life very, very late. So did you sleep well?
Yeah, definitely. And we have a beautiful morning here with starts to rain now. So hopefully the weather won't affect much here.
It's good. It's always it's really funny in Malaysia now. I mean, it's not like when we moved here 5 years ago, because now the rain is coming like unexpectedly a little bit earlier than usual, and every afternoon normally it comes, but now it's like 10:30 in the morning and it's already gray. So something is happening here.
Well, this is all about the weathers, and we're going to touch about that later as well.
Good, Darren. So it's really, really nice to have you here. And I'm always starting with a little bit of personal information. So tell us a little bit more about who is Darren. What's your favorite Malaysian food, or either Indian or any kind of food that you like? Tell us a little bit more about your history. Where are you from originally?
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, I'm Darren, of course, and I've been in blockchain industry for more than 3 years now. And now my blockchain is not so much about cryptos, but more towards like the technology applications, like how to help businesses to improve their, what we call it, the competitiveness as well as their productivity. So my normal job is, giving advisory services to these SMEs, SMIs to help them to improve the business, and that's where I come from. And of course, then lately, of course, we know that the whole blockchain industry, they move into this, what we call it, last year is like DeFi, era, and now this year is NFT is so hot about that. And of course, from the NFT, what is banging the world is the metaverse ideas that, I mean, like I think metaverse is going to hit the business, like because of this new sort of like new technology, as well as the, what we call it, the potential in metaverse. So that's where I'm coming from, to talk about like what this metaverse can do. I mean, for businesses, especially for the coming up 2 to 3 years, this is where we are heading to. And I mean, like we should at least know about it, and what is this metaverse can do for us in the business.
I would really love to set straight the definitions, because maybe people are watching us who doesn't really know what we are talking about. So it's something that some people really know, and there are some people that doesn't know. So we have 3 things that I would like to clear up first. First, blockchain technology. Second, NFT, and third, metaverse. These words we have to explain, please.
Oh, okay. Well, it'll take me a whole day to explain that.
Very shortly, the most simple way.
Okay. Well, since I mean we do have so much time. Okay, blockchain is it's a great technology, I would say, because blockchain is more towards like what we call it the decentralized technology, the distributed ledger. The concept is like distributed ledger where you, after you have records it in blockchain, I mean, you can't change it, you can't alter it, you can't edit it, and that can to what we call it to make it more transparent, then traceable, as well as you can't be what we call it. We can reduce the human error, as well as the fraud issue. So whatever recorded in blockchain, that can be kept so-called forever, and it's always traceable. After years, and nobody can alter it. That's the beautiful part of the blockchain. Okay, then of course, due to this technology, where that's where the new finance concept coming up, where because finance, we know that when it comes to money, we need third party to be a trustee, to control the money. So blockchain is something that can remove the trustee parts, where I can deal directly with you and with the proper records, and like nobody will come out and have arguments about the money issue here. So
super solution, for example, for sending money to donation, because exactly the person who you want to send the donation, for example, will receive, and there is no middleman in between. It goes directly to the account of the person who you want to support, for example.
And and it's transparent, where you can see how the money is being spent. Especially when we come to donations, like we know that most of the time, the organization take the money and they might spend somewhere else, instead of the purpose that they told you. So blockchain is beautiful because like you will see the transparency, the how money flow, and where the money goes to, and all cannot be hidden. That's the beautiful part. It's very transparent.
Let's go to the second thing, the NFT first.
NFT. Okay, NFT is non-fungible tokens. Okay, so we know that, okay, let's say today I would like to transfer $1,000 to Andrea. What I have to do is go to the bank and put in 1,000. Then after the transaction, Andrea can withdraw the 1,000 from where she is. But the thousands that in her hand is not the 1,000 in from where I put in the bank. So it won't be the same dollar notes. That is the normal finance. Okay, that's the normal finance. Where even in blockchain, when we talk about like Bitcoins or Ethereum, whenever I want to transfer a Bitcoin to Andrea, the Bitcoin that Andrea received is not going to be the same Bitcoin that I sent, because this is what we call it the traditional way of recordings, is where as long as you get the same value, you don't really mind whether the $1,000 that you get is whether from the $1,000 from my pockets or not. That is about the value. So you are happy with it, then that case done. Okay. So non-fungible token is where I have to make sure this $1,000 that I put in, you are going to get the same piece of the dollar notes. Maybe I have put the notes in the I write some short messages on the notes, and I put a signature, or I send something else, then definitely I have to make sure these $1,000 notes can reach Andrea's hand, and where she can get the same notes that where she can read the message on it. So that is non-fungible. So the non-fungible tokens is where it's not saying that we can directly do transaction. There is a series of like proof, or what we call it, the code numbers, that where you can like trace whether the items that you get is what we call it, is genuine and is the original piece. That's why this NFT ideas is mainly being used from at the beginning is mainly towards the art pieces as well as the collectible. So because those we need to make sure like the art pieces that we get is a real one, is the genuine one. It's just like you spend so much money to buy a piece from Van Gogh artwork. You have to make sure you get the right the actual original Van Gogh's works, instead of like somebody else paint it, or copied it, So NFT is solutions towards like to get the genuine art pieces, and also genuine like collectibles, like maybe some antiques, from a few thousand years back kind of thing. Like you need all this original proof, to know that the money that is spent is going to get something worth that much. Yeah. So So NFT is a new idea. I mean, new concept. You know, I mean, I say new because it's just about few years, few years old, and still a very new thing to most of the people. I would say, I mean, it's something fun, NFT, because I mean, like nowadays, it's not only limited to art pieces as well as collectible. Some even like putting their documents, or some contracts, to make it into NFT, so that I mean, you can keep it as a genuine piece, and you don't have to worry about like people are going and alter it or make a copy of it, or and there's a lot of things that you can actually make on NFT. Even your mail, like let's say, I mean, today we make a screenshot of Andrea and me here, we can put it into NFT to make sure this is going to be kept forever. And I mean, who knows? I mean, that the value of the pictures might go up, shoot up. I mean, in few years time.
So it's kind of like the stamp, the old
Yes.
stamp that you did with the candles, and in the old times, the red stamp that only one house had that stamp, and if they stamped the document, then it was theirs, and it was valid forever, but it had to have that stamp, otherwise
Yeah.
it was not really, and it was blocked. You remember when they rolled the paper, then the stamp
Yeah.
was closing the
You
stuff.
just sealed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's exactly this. So we have the blockchain technology, which is kind of like a decentralized finance universe, with all this technology and everything coming with it. We explained NFT, which is kind of like a really identified, you remember, a paper that is like blocked with your signature, and people know that it's from you. It can be an art piece, it can be anything. Later, even tickets. I heard that they are doing like tickets for
Yes.
a basketball match, and you can just sell it because it's identified that it's yours. And then let's come to the third one, which is Metaverse, which is a little bit harder to grasp, but try to make it in a shorter way so that people at least get some information about what is Metaverse.
Okay, metaverse actually is a big word, I would say, because the word itself, meta and verse, is made up of the prefix where meta is meta is the meaning of meta is like beyond, beyond, and the stem verse is actually the back formation from the universe. So this metaverse is a meta and verse is like beyond the universe, which is bigger than the universe that we understand now. Okay, so the terms is typically used to describe the concept of a future iteration of the internet. Like I mean, what we call that is the future of internet. Why we say that? Because I mean, it makes up of persistence, shared, and 3D virtual space linked into a perceived virtual universe. So the metaverse is a broader sense, may not only refer to virtual world, but interest as a whole, including the entire spectrums of augmented reality. Like I believe that most of you have watched movies, like from few years back, we know that. I think the very first movies that I understand about, I have a pictures of like metaverse is like Minority Reports, the Tom Cruise movies. And of course, I mean, people talk about like Matrix, as well as, I mean, like years back, we have Avatar, and lately we can see that, I mean, like in Avengers series, you see, like the Iron Man, like moving around with all those, you don't really need a keyboards or monitors that you can see all those things and you can control, all those are a part of metaverse, I would say. It's part of metaverse. Metaverse is definitely bigger than that. So metaverse is where what we call it, another dimension of the real world, I would say. It is a new dimension of the real world, and it's virtual. Definitely it's virtual. But of course, I mean, at the moment, people are arguing that metaverse is not for everybody because you need a lot of gadgets, or you might need a lot of good tools, or some other additional how we call it, the gadgets to help you to be into metaverse. But I mean, like what I can foresee is like we all know that 5G is coming up soon. I mean, like maybe in years time, then of course, and also if we look back about like internet as well as smartphones, the history of smartphone is not really that long, but you look at like how it develops, like from 30 years back, when we started, to have internet. But during then we can't, we hardly imagine, you can using a phone without any keyboards, and you can control so simply, and also, I mean, like a small gadgets in your hand can actually control your life, you see. So I mean, like if you look at like how smartphone develops, and I can easily tell you that Metaverse, as long as if the concept is right, and I mean like the right organization is like approving it, you know, I would say a lot of these telecommunications players, they might, you know, like put, you know, apps, you know, like into your mobile phones where you can easily access to Metaverse in future. I won't say that it's impossible, because I mean, like, you know, technology improves every day. So I can foresee that, you know, Metaverse is for everybody in near future. And because of these smartphones, as well as the competition between, you know, all these technologies company, you know, and we know that Facebook also, you know, want to turn themselves into Metaverse. So really, Metaverse might be for everybody very soon.
I wanted to tell you that maybe it's a lot of information this early morning at 10:44 in Malaysia, but maybe it's already good information in US because they are already at the end of the day. So what I want to say is that what we are telling you here, please watch it back. This show will be available on YouTube, and try to digest, because it's a super useful information. Darren is going through the basics of the blockchain technology, of the NFT, of the metaverse, which is coming to you. It's really fast, and we cannot even grasp how fast it's reaching us and how fast it will change our lives. So if you couldn't get it for the first time, because it's a lot of information in 30 minutes, and he will come back later with panel discussions and also other things to explain it a little bit further. But please go back to this YouTube session or Facebook session and rewatch it again, and try to grasp the information about all these technologies, because they are here. It's touching everyone, right? So when you were talking about social media, when you were talking about finances, it's really shifting now. It's better to understand it today than just, you know, be left behind and not understanding and just trying to catch up later, right, Darren?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, I'm also agree to be a mentor as well. So I mean, like, if you are going into this kind of projects and you need advisory services, or you need to talk to people to discuss about the ideas, I mean, like, you're always welcome. You know, I'm willing to help, because I would like to see, you know, like, Metaverse become something real. I mean, in our near futures, where we can, you know, celebrate it together. Yeah.
And this is something that people has to just understand. It's a little bit like the Matrix. When we saw the movie, when I first talked to Darren, well, Metaverse is something like that people have to first understand that there is a parallel universe coming up in the digital world, which is totally different, that you have to get used to it. But it's really building itself by the people who are creating the blockchain technology, by the people who are putting their money on this financial market, by the change institutes who are changing the money and creating all the services, by the banks who are joining in, by all the people like Gary Vee, who is talking about NFT ever since he is online and it is created, or anyone who you listen to, they are talking about blockchain, about Bitcoin, about Ethereum, about all the different things that are on the market, right? So this is where it starts. You need to understand what Darren is saying and have to grasp the basic definitions of what is it and how is it created, because we know that it's mined, but I'm not really like in this. I know that you need a lot of servers to do mining and all these things, but what is behind? Maybe the people who are watching us doesn't know anything about blockchain mining and what does it mean.
Well, okay. Mining. Mining. Honestly, I don't really do minings much. You know, because I don't waste I don't want to waste so much power to do this mining. I mean, years back. Now mining is much simpler, and you don't have to like waste so much of power as what they claim to. You know, now I mean, like, a lot of like NFT games that you get involved. You know that you play, you can earn. So your playing is a mining activities. We're playing game in an NFT, or what we call it, the blockchain games. You know, if you are playing blockchain games, playing is earning. You know, that's the concept of this. Like
I heard about it, that some people like earning 2,000 USD per month just by playing on the games, right?
Yes. So I mean, like that, there's a lot to explore, to be honest. I mean, but I'm not a game person, so so I don't get involved much. But I know that the concept is great, because I mean, like, we all know that, I mean, like, people are complaining, like mining bitcoins is like wasting so much of electronic powers. So that caused what we call it, the weather issue. That like earlier we talked about, like raining now is totally out of their normal time zone. We know that those are big issue. Especially we understand that United Nations, they coming up with this 2021, the what we call it, the sustainable goals. There's 17 goals that are inclusive of like what we call it, there are a lot of issues about this, reduce wastage, as well as, I mean, to control the environment kind of thing. But I mean we have our responsibility towards that. So that's why you can see that there are a lot of mining works, right? Actually, they transferred, instead of using the conventional, like using a lot of like electronics, electrical, now that there are more creative ways to do mining. Like even myself, I mean, like 2 years back, I have this mining watch, a watch that I put on my waist. I mean, like that, of course, while I'm using the watch, it's actually helped me to mine. So meaning to say, I can mine 24 hours as long as I put on my watch. But I mean, of course, the capacity is not as great as a CPU, a personal computers, kind of like the productivity is lower. But I mean, like at least, I mean, if we talk about economical, it's like you're mining 24 hours, which is not that bad. So but mining
So
is
we are really going into the details, and we need a session with you about explaining anything. So if someone cannot grasp what we are talking about, please go to Darren, connect him. He's available on LinkedIn. So I will just put up the banner for him, and
Thank
you
you.
can follow Darren here, Darren T, on LinkedIn, and just write him that you were watching the GES interview with him, and that you want to connect. And I'm sure that he will accept the connection request, and he can explain you more about what is the blockchain universe, what is Metaverse, what is NFT, what is mining, what is all this, and what you can get out of it. But let's just go there in the last part of this interview, because we have around like 5 minutes left. Let's just say that someone is interested in this and they don't understand what they can get out of it. So why does it worth it to go into the market and to trade, or to get some Bitcoins or an Ethereum, or just to learn about it? What does it mean to the people? What is the benefit if they start to learn about it?
Oh, okay. Please don't take this as a financial advice. Okay.
Very good, very good.
Investment is
You have to
always
say
right.
this. Yes, it's not for everyone, and you have to be very careful. We are not pushing you in it. It's just an information, and you consider whether you want to learn more or not.
Yeah. Personally, I mean, like personally, as I said in the beginning, I am into blockchain, but not so much into cryptos, because blockchain is a great technology, and Metaverse is something that you cannot miss if you are into businesses. Because I mean, there is so much potential in it. I mean, like you're going to see Metaverse is going to be something huge. I mean, in coming one or 2 years, and you will see, instead of like do your marketing online, digital marketings, in near future you will put your marketings into Metaverse. That is coming. Okay, so I mean, of course, we talk to this a very conventional kind of like blockchain issue, where people talking about like cryptos, and to invest into these cryptos. I'm not going to say good or bad, because this is one of the, what we call it, the capital tools, where you can put it as an investment tools, where you can let your money work for you, but you have to do your own studies seriously. And of course, if you ask me, I have experienced like my money grow more than 100 times, in this industry. But not saying that everybody can do that, because you need a right timing. You need to do your homeworks, your studies, you have to check the projects and see to understand the technology behind it, and to look for the potential in it, and make sure you do the right bet. And of course, investment is always come with risk, but as long as you know what is your objective, and you are very clear of like what we call it, you have to draw a line, like that how much money you can put in, where you won't touch it for years. Don't think about few weeks. Okay, few weeks to grow 10 times, 100 times, that is like sort of like, I'm not saying impossible, but it rarely happens, I would say, unless you are coming in the right timing, where like last year XRP, being sued by SEC, and because of court case, the price drops. And if you enter then after I think few weeks, it grow back, few 100%. I mean, which is a very good timing, where if you are like entering during that time, because XRP is not so costly as well, so it's a easy entry during then. But of course that won't happen every day, so you have to do your own study. And of course, you're welcome to come and talk to me, if you need to know more like about like how this, what is technology behind, and what is the potential they need, and how much further they can go. Like lately we all know that, I mean, the fourth quarter of every year, major cryptos like like Bitcoins and Ethereum is going to shoot up, and it is happening now. So if you are entering Bitcoin now, I mean, that will like cost you quite a lot. So maybe you can look at other alternative at the moment, and slowly, like you just monitor the markets a bit, then you transfer it, exchange it, later on, and my advice is still, once you get your BTC in your hand, don't sell it. Just hold, hold, and for some longer period, then you will see the value in it. Yeah. Of course, I mean, again, I have to emphasize, this is not a financial advice. This is not an investment advice. This is just it's a conversation about like this blockchain technology and what we should do. I mean, like especially in coming years, where this technology is like involving everybody. It's no longer like being played by this big player anymore. It's like everybody, you just can't get away from blockchain, NFT, as well as Metaverse. Yep. Yeah, Andrea, I didn't hear you.
Yes, beautiful information. It was really, really, really nice to have you here. It's a perfect morning with a perfect, simple but understandable information about blockchain and Metaverse, and people can understand a little bit more. If you got interested in it, then please follow Darren on LinkedIn and reach out to him and check it out with him, even consult with him. Just write that you were here and you were listening to this conversation. If you want to be on the market, you want to know more about Metaverse and how you can use it in your marketing, for example, and how you can, just get to know blockchain technology a little bit better. Super, super excited about all these topics. You are bringing real value to the people, Darren. It was amazing to have you for the 30 minutes. And we will see you at another time. Now I will join Priya for another session, and we will coming back soon in a few minutes with Priya Mishra, one of our sponsors. And Darren, have a beautiful day. Thank you very much for preparing and sharing this information with all the people. And thank you for everyone who was watching. And don't forget, watch it back, digest many times, and understand more about it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you know where to get me.